I need to get this off my chest. And please don't mistake me for being a Debbie Jelinsky downer. Because I love nothing more than celebrating the holidays with friends and family. But we need to talk about this. Autumn and Halloween are the capitals of overconsumption. Okay, kids, buckle up. For Halloween in 2025, the spending is projected at 13.1 billion, up from 11.6 billion the year before. And of that, decorations alone are expected to hit around 4.2 billion. It's estimated that around 35 million Halloween costumes are discarded each year, and roughly 83% of them are made with non-recyclable oil-based plastics. Every trick-or-treater generates around £1 or 0.5 kilograms of trash on the night of Halloween. And this is the craziest statistic to me. About £1 billion, or approximately 453 million kilograms of real pumpkins are sent to landfill each year. And the UK is no saint either, because around 2,000 tonnes of plastic waste is generated during Halloween each year, which mainly comprises of costumes and decorations, and around £776 million is spent on Halloween in a year, and many of the cheap items are thrown away after only a single use. Autumn, or fall, and Halloween in general seem to be a hotspot for overconsumption. And recently I saw a video by Kiki who covered this exact topic, and honestly, it was more terrifying to me than any ghost story. And over October, obviously, I've done several traditionally spooky themed videos, like talking about haunted houses or meeting a ghost piano or cozying up to the world of murder mysteries. But today, I don't think it would rest easy in my soul if we didn't talk about the reality. This time of year, it feels like we're often urged, or perhaps pressured, to refresh our homes and our wardrobes and our decor. I mean, it's autumn and people want change. It's probably subconsciously linked to those kind of back-to-school vibes. But I don't think that it's right that retailers push change to equal more stuff. And I know that's probably pretty redundant to say because, let's face it, they're not going to change. But retailers are the trickiest things that we've seen since trick-or-treaters because they lean into that nostalgia that they know we're all craving. With throwback Halloween collections from the 90s or vintage collections.
A lot of their stuff is vintage Halloween themed this year, like things that I grew up in my childhood home with.
And they play in to that limited edition psychology and seasonal only items. But have you noticed that all of the Halloween decorations that were trending and going viral last year are now filling up the clearance shelves this year?
I was fortunate enough to find the viral ghost painting. This was the only painting they had left, so I had to have her.
This morning I went to Home Goods and I just so happened to get there before they opened, but like a normal person, I waited in my car until they opened. There was a lady already at the door with her body and face pressed up against the glass waiting for them to open the door. As soon as they opened the door, she bum rushed the employee and went straight to the Halloween section and grabbed 5 of the same item. It was the viral ghost on the swing. 5 of them.
I mean, it's not even trendy anymore.
But, Debbie, what? Pastels?
Get out of my house! And let's just look at the facts. These items are poorly made. They're of low quality. So much so that often people are only buying them so that they can take them home and improve them themselves by painting them or adding more to them. In fact, I was actually a victim of this. Just give me 1 second. Because I bought this ceramic spooky house from a bargain shop and gave it a complete facelift. And I even added a little platform with a garden and a little witch who lives there. And when the house sits on it and you look through the window, it's like there's a little carpet inside. It's super cute. And I even added some lighting. And I'll be honest, this decoration will now last me year upon year upon year for Halloween. But I can't help but think how many of the ceramic houses that were on the shelves that maybe parents bought for their kids to paint are going to end up in the bin or at your local charity shop. I actually did an entire transformation video on how I DIY'd that haunted house if you want to check that out. Obviously, that's not going to be a single-use piece of decoration for me. I worked so very hard on it that I'm definitely going to be using it year after year after year. And actually, at the moment, it's permanently living on one of the shelves in my bedroom. But in the US, people spend around $2.36 billion on plastic single-use decorations each year. And as some people on the internet have termed it, these items are basically just landfill core. What I don't understand is, why don't we treat Halloween in the same way that we treat Christmas? Because what's one festive experience that most of us had? Going up to the loft and getting that same old Christmas tree down and all your familiar and cherished decorations year after year after year. And that never bothered us. It was actually a big part of preparing for the holidays. And it kind of gets you into the spirit because it's something that you do every single year. So you know you're right at the start of the festive season. But I don't know, maybe Christmas has also fallen victim to this overconsumption gremlin. And let's also remember that Christmas is coming.
Ring-a-ling.
As is winter. And so autumn is actually the perfect time to be conservative with our budget and adopt a bit of gentle frugalness. Not that you'd think that if you ever surf the old socials. And it's the same with the whole autumn, fall fashion sector. For example, in the UK, autumn spending rose with about 517 billion spent on clothing and household goods. And some of the spending that I saw on Kiki's video, for example, made my head spin. For example, I don't know if you've ever heard of boo baskets, which I think started as quite a communal, neighbourly thing to share with people. But now people are spending like hundreds, if not thousands of pounds on boo baskets with like real Uggs in there, or Stanley mugs, or chocolates, and even I think I saw one girl, she put a blender in there. I know it's not my spending, but seeing other people spend so excessively, it makes me physically anxious, and it gives me nightmares for them. Not that I even know their, situation. Maybe to them this is under budget, but there's just something about it that rubs me up the wrong way. When they fill their kitchen island with just bags and bags and bags of stuff, and they do like unboxings and things like that, and it's not just one little box or one package, it could be hundreds. I don't know what it is we're seeing. I feel like a little Victorian child, standing out the window of a rich family at Christmas, peeking in and watching them carve the turkey. It's weird. So I went on a little field trip to really understand what Halloween consumption is truly all about. This is me, and this is Whitby, possibly the spookiest town in the UK due to its connection with Bram Stoker's Dracula. Because it was right here, at this very spot, that Bram Stoker himself was inspired for the setting of his novel during his holiday to the town in 1890. Using the town's picturesque harbour, the 199 steps leading to the graveyard of St Mary's Church, the Abbey ruins, and the overall eerie atmosphere as the inspiration for the Gothic setting of Dracula. And, as with many historic locations, it has now become a tourist hotspot, which, don't get me wrong, is fantastic for the town's economy. But, as we all know, with tourists comes shopping. The entire town echoes or sometimes plays into that spooky and whimsical energy. Not just from the simple side streets that look straight out of the pages of a book, but every shop window is decorated with a stunningly spooky twist. This is a place where you could truly fill your boo baskets. And I'm not hating on all of the seasonal items. Many, I'll admit, are absolutely adorable, and a lot of them are handmade and of beautiful quality. But you could spend a small fortune here. What does worry me a little more is not unique to Whitby. Like many shops in the UK, there are aisles piled high with plastic, poorly made Halloween decorations. I mean, they are chock-a-blocked with, stuff. A sea of spooky clutter, low-quality costumes, and synthetic, aesthetic fall items. It is seasonal consumerism at its finest. Not that I think there should be any guilt with taking away with you a little spooky souvenir, but it's the excess of options that's pretty mind-boggling. Walking around, all I kept thinking to myself was, there is just too much choice.
No chippies. Oh, don't look at me like that. I don't have anything.
So I resorted to my safe haven, a charity shop, where I spotted this perfect hat that I'll be wearing as part of my own Halloween costume this year at my Gold members murder mystery. Honestly, I'd walked into pretty much every Gothic fashion shop looking for a hat just like this to no avail. Secondhand shopping to the rescue once again. The whole thing is just a little scary to think about when we reflect on how much times have changed. And I know I wasn't there, but I sometimes deeply yearn for us to circle back to the way that families appeared to have celebrated Halloween in the past. I don't know what it is, but something about the 1950s to the 1970s really give me a sense of whimsical spookiness and simplicity. And most importantly, it didn't appear that they were centered around consumption. I mean, the pumpkins, that really irritates me because 2 million pumpkins were produced, I think this was from last year, and around 1.3 billion ended up in landfill. 2 billion pumpkins, 1.3 billion simply thrown away. Add them to your compost, feed the local wildlife, make pumpkin pie, do anything. But what I try to remember when I get a bit bogged down seeing all of the excessive consumption, particularly now that we have social media, is that we do still have the freedom to not have to buy the newest or trendiest version of something and still be able to celebrate with just as much meaning, if not more. And with my video on Monday, I walked you through my own humble Halloween celebrations with some fun ideas on how it can be sustainable and budget-friendly, but still entertain your guests. Because we don't need a porch filled with faux pumpkins. We don't need to be voted the winner of the spookiest house in the neighbourhood competition, and we don't need to fill our homes to the brim of decorations that are going viral online. And it's tempting. Shopping can be really, really fun. And when me and my mum are out and about together, we're probably the worst two people to be together because when we see something cute, we want to pop it in our trolley and take it home. But another thing I've noticed about Halloween decorations is that they're so much more expensive than they used to be. For example, quite a while ago, I found this, a pack of these at the pound shop in the UK. So you guessed it, they were £1. And they are little fold out paper pumpkins that you can just scatter around your house. I think now this is about 5 years old. It might be looking a little worse for wear, but all in all, it's still in good nick. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better. That's what it looks like. It's still in good nick because I do my best to take care of it and make it last. And I just buy things that I like and that match my aesthetic or would just look good in my home rather than following trends, because it might not be to everyone's cup of tea, but I like whipping these out every year. They always look good. They add a pop of colour, a little bit of spookiness to the space, and that's all I need. Rather than, come next Halloween, I have to replace all of my decorations because they're not on trend or in season anymore. I just buy things that I like, that are easy to store away, that are cheap, that are value for money, that will last, and I do my best to take care of them. These live in the outhouse for the whole of the year and just come out for Halloween. What I'm seeing a lot from people, and I'm not talking about you and me here, people online, is that they're forgetting that the real priority of a time like autumn is quality time with those that you love. And you know what? Who am I? Spend your money, but potentially spend it on experiences rather than impulse buys, and use autumn to find a slower, more meaningful seasonal rhythm. Just stop buying the tat, because the more we buy this tat, it's not all tat, of course, but the more we buy it, the more the shops will provide it. And it's just a vicious circle.
All right, HomeGoods anti-haul, let's go. You definitely don't need a whole new bathroom set just for 1 month.
This is an anti-Halloween haul from HomeGoods, things I didn't buy and why.
Obviously, this is being posted the day before Halloween.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Because I am always late to the party. But it's definitely given me some food for thought, and I don't think I'll ever be able to walk into a shop now and see those aisles that are all dedicated to Halloween decorations and see it the same. Celebration doesn't mean overconsumption. And in today's day and age, I couldn't say that more times, because it feels like everything has to be an occasion. but not in the sense that you're just enjoying the experience, in the sense that all of the stuff associated with that occasion has to be the best and most trendiest and newest that it could ever be. And at the end of the day, when you're doing that, who are you doing it for? And with that, I wish you all a powerfully peaceful Halloween, or a gentle October 31st if you don't celebrate it. But if you do, then please share with me your favourite reused decoration. Whether it's an heirloom, a thrifty find, something handmade, comment it below, and happy Halloween.